What is not worth seeing in person? It's just a big hill. My Nepali co-worker on Mount Everest. Edit, hot damn this blew up. To answer a common question, unless Carl Pilkington got a very good makeup artist, acquired a thick Nepali accent, and is now a guy named Prakash studying to be a microbiologist, I'm like 28% sure they are two different people. Also, Prakash is no longer my co-worker as he got a job in a lab doing what I understand to be food science. Unless that's a cover so he can take off his Prakash costume and go film Idiot abroad. Also, I've enjoyed learning all the different ways to spell Carl Pilkington. I'm not even sure of my own spelling now. No, boyo. It's the big hill. Edit, I know about K2. Shut up about K2, it was a joke. The results of a fatal car accident. Stop rubbernecking. If you see anything, it's going to ruin your day. When I was a kid, we were on our way home from out of town when we were the first on scene of a really bad fatal accident. The driver veered off the road and hit the guard railing at the start of a bridge. He survived and was sitting next to the car in absolute shock. His partner in the front, however, got decapitated, and his partner's mother was in the back seat with a shattered neck but still alive. The car had caught fire and my dad, being the badass he is, got mom to stay in the car with us kids, grabbed his shovel and raced over and tossed dirt on the fire to put it out. He then covered up the lady with a blanket in the front seat and sat with her mom, who had the shattered neck, in the back, just talking and keeping her calm until the ambulance arrived. While he was sitting there with her, this random dude pulled over and walked up to the accident with his 5-year-old son to have a look. I have never seen my dad angrier as someone in my life than he was with that bloke. Like, who in their right mind would want to see that scene, let alone show their young child? Unfortunately, the lady died when the paramedics arrived, and it turns out the driver was drunk or speeding or something and ended up going to jail. My dad lost a lot of sleep because of what he saw. So basically, yeah, stay away. It's bloody and sensitive to the people involved and can mess you up pretty bad seeing something like that. Four Corners. I remember reading about it as a kid and convincing my family to drive way out of the way to go see it on a road trip. It is literally a concrete slab in the middle of nowhere. My dad and I still use this as a reference about how disappointing things are. As bad as Four Corners? 25 years later. Iowa's largest frying pan. I mean, if you are already in Iowa, go right ahead. However, don't go there just to see this. It wasn't nearly as large as I thought it would be, and about 15 minutes off the freeway. I guess I have standards for large frying pans. Iowa 80, world's largest truck stop, on the other hand, is fucking dope. Bowling alleys, movie theater, barber shop, museum. Place is crazy. Plymouth Rock. God, Plymouth Rock was hilarious for me. My 7th grade class was taking a trip to Boston, from Long Island, New York, and for weeks, my teachers had been hyping up this rock. They would say how incredible and deeply touching it was to see a piece of history like that up close. Then we saw it. Every single one of us had this shocked look on our faces until the teachers all burst into laughter because their ruse had worked. 10th teacher prank. As a resident of Massachusetts, I'd say save your time and don't go to Salem. Too many hipsters and wannabe witches roaming the streets, blocking traffic, taking pictures, and just generally being rude. Salem has history, just stay away. The band Smash Mouth in person. The years start coming and they don't stop coming. That line explains all you need to know. Saw them completely by accident. Was literally driving to the store only to find the roads blocked off because of a concert. Saw the banner for Smash Mouth. Stopped, walked over, joined a very small crowd, and got a small, shitty Smash Mouth concert. People just yelling to play Shrek songs the whole time. Funniest thing, the lead singer got way too plastered for the show, ended up getting overheated and got taken away by ambulance. So the rest of the band just played the Shrek songs without him, with the audience saying the lyrics, and then they ended the show. Weirdest and saddest little concert I've ever seen. Guns N' Roses. Ridiculously late start time? Check. Stupidly overpriced. Check. Obese frontman? Check. Aches always being 1 second away from deciding that the chi of the arena isn't perfect and then storming off stage? Check. The original Starbucks. I work nearby and there's usually a long line to get in, especially in the summer. Walking through the market and looking at it from the outside is plenty. On the inside it's still just another Starbucks, you just waited an hour longer to get your damn coffee. It's not even truly the first Starbucks. They just chose that location to represent being the first. If I remember correctly, the original store was torn down, doesn't exist anymore. Did some digging. The first Starbucks was opened by an English teacher, a history teacher, and a writer in 1971 in a location a few blocks north of the highly trafficked original Starbucks. The three entrepreneurs were impressed by the dark roasted coffee offered by Pete's at the time and wanted to make their own in Seattle, so they started Starbucks as a coffee bean company. The store they first opened was on 2000 Western Avenue. It moved to its location in Pike Place Market 5 years later. The original Starbucks is actually no longer at the location on 2000 Western Avenue when they moved it. They actually moved it, meaning the original was gone after that. The Liberty Bell. It's a bell with a crack in it and you can see it from outside the pavilion. If you're in the area, a guided tour of Independence Hall is a much better use of time. Edit. That blew up. To clarify, I'm mostly talking about the summer when it's 90 degrees and the line is more than an hour. I'm probably late to the party here, but I feel like a lot of people in this thread have missed the point of the things they went to see. When you visit something, there should be a reason you're visiting it other than to be impressed solely by the visual of it. When you see the Great Sphinx of Giza, you're not just looking at a pile of rocks. You're looking at one of the oldest statues in the world, built over 4,000 years ago by ancient Egyptians. Who cares if it's only 60 feet tall and most of its face is mostly gone? It's an incredible piece of history that you are lucky to still be able to see in person. Of course, Stonehenge is stupid if you don't care about human history. It's just a bunch of fairly large rocks. But if you care about history, then it represents a fascinating development in ancient human society. It is thousands of years old, dating back to the earliest days of written history, even prehistory, and you get to see it with your own eyes. That's pretty cool if you ask me. My point is that most things are only worth seeing when you assign some sort of personal, sentimental value to them. If you're ever on a road trip across America and you see billboards telling you to go see IT, don't bother. IT is located behind a truck stop. You pay 75 cents, walk through a curtain made of shredded black garbage bags, and end up outside. You walk through a couple standalone sheds filled with old farm equipment until you reach the final barn. Here we are. You think. Finally. IT is a barely salvaged, mummified Native American papoose in a glass case surrounded by other old farm equipment. Worst 75 cents I've ever spent. Edit. Turns out I was referring to the thing. And not IT. I guess the thing wasn't very memorable.